en inglés. ¿Tienen alguna pregunta que hacerle? Por favor me avisan para yo poder mandársela por el chat o directamente se la pueden hacer al café. Okay, Tyler. Hi, Jen. I don't know what you're calling you, Tyler. Go ahead.
Thank you, Belen. If you don't mind, I wasn't able to see the students there in your office. Is it possible to turn your camera on just for a minute?
It's a little bit hard for us to show you the camera, but I promise I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you so you can have it. Because I have the laptop and it's a little bit weird to turn it around. So.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you so much. All right, so my name is Tyson Manning, and I work at Murray State University. We are a public university in the United States in Kentucky, and so I'm really thankful for all of you for joining us today. I'm going to give you a short presentation about universities and colleges in the United States. And then I'll talk a little bit about my university, Murray State University, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all have. So thank you again. So you all may be familiar with the education system in the United States. University study, so you can do a lot of your general studies courses at community colleges. So for those of you interested in a bachelor's degree, this could be a great place for you to start. For bachelor's students in the United States, typically we do a lot of, we call it general studies courses, no matter what your intended major is. You know, if you're going to be majoring in engineering or business or computer science or biology, no matter what major you're going to choose, you still typically need to do the general studies courses. So that's going to be, you know, English and science and history and public speaking and mathematics. Those are considered general studies courses. So community colleges offer those courses, and then we have universities, and universities typically offer more academic programs. There are research options at universities. The institution where I work, Murray State University, we are a university, and so universities offer bachelor's, master's, and normally PhD programs as well. And so universities are divided into public universities, which these are the universities that receive funding from the state government or the government, and then there are private universities that operate based on tuition fees typically. from students. And then we also have another type of institution in the U.S., and this is the language training centers. Okay, so language training centers offer intensive English training. Typically, they don't offer, any kind of degree program, but they could be a good place for you if you want to come to the U.S. to improve your English. So finding the right university, this is something that's very important for you when you're looking at coming to the United States for your studies. There are, like I said, many universities, so you really need to do your research, talk with, Berlin and the Education USA staff there in Ecuador. They have a lot of information about studying in the United States. Also reach out to the universities and reach out to the different institutions that you're thinking about studying at and ask them for information. Go onto their websites and try to collect as much information as you can to try to find a university that's a good match for you. That's going to be very important. Because first of all, studying in the U.S. can be expensive, so you want to make the right decision. And so here I've got some information on, academics. So that's one of the most important things you want to consider when you're looking at a university in the U.S. is, what are my career goals? What do I want to study? Does the university offer the program that I'm interested in? There are some universities in the U.S. that, they focus more on liberal arts, English and fields that are not so much related to science, whereas there are other universities and other institutions that focus more on engineering. There are some universities that have more of a business focus. So you really want to find out what the university specializes in, and that way you can start to narrow down your selection of universities. Another key thing that you want to consider is the university accredited? Okay, so basically that means that if a university is accredited, that means that your degree will be recognized by employers and organizations and other universities. So when you graduate, you will have a degree that will be recognized around the world. And so that's important for you to look into the accreditation of the university, to make sure that it's recognized, and also to make sure that if you're joining for example, an engineering program or a business program or an arts program, you want to make sure that the program itself also has accreditation from the professional body in that field. So look at accreditation, that's important. University rankings, this is something that you could also look at. There are different magazines and newspapers that rank universities, so you could also take a look at the rankings of the university. Okay, so taking a look a little bit further at the academic programs, so undergraduate programs in the U.S., we call it a bachelor's degree. Usually it's a 4-year degree, and that usually is completed in 8 semesters. So a semester, the fall semester that we have in the United States begins in August and it ends in December, and then we have the spring semester, which begins in January, and that one ends in May. So that would be considered one academic year from August until May, and that would be 1 year of your undergraduate studies. And then for graduate programs, master's programs typically take 1 year to 2 years to complete. It really depends on the program. Sometimes students, they want to get their degree as quickly as they can, so it's possible to finish in 1 year. Other programs may have more research, more coursework, and so sometimes it takes 2 years to finish. Doctoral programs can range anywhere from 3 years to 4 years to 5 years in the U.S. And then we also have, like I was mentioning before, we have English language programs in the U.S., which is a great opportunity for you to really practice your English and to meet Americans and to improve your speaking skills, your listening, your reading, and your writing skills. And so these programs are sometimes available at universities. Most universities have English language programs. The English language programs at universities are typically geared more toward preparing you to do academic English. You know, you'll be attending classes and taking notes from professors and writing essays. So the English programs at universities tend to gear you or prepare you more for academic English, whereas the English programs that are not associated with universities, maybe more for business English or more practical English that you might use in your profession. So we have, like I said, many international students currently in the United States. These are some of the most popular majors for international students. So, you know, engineering, business, math, and computer science, these are the top three. But, you know, obviously the United States is a great place for many of the other fields, you know, agriculture and education and health professions. So you can see here where most of the international students are studying in the U.S. So going back a little bit to English language programs, most of the universities in the U.S. will have an English language program that you can start in. So before you start your degree, before you start your bachelor's degree, before you start your master's degree, if you need to practice your English or if you want to practice your English before you actually join the university, come for an English language program. This is a good opportunity for you to, you know, improve your skills, but also to get to know the university and to get to know the community. So these are located on campuses throughout the United States. Usually the class sizes are very small, 15 students typically is the maximum. And so this is a good opportunity for those who want to practice their English. So I talked a little bit before about accreditation and rankings. So you can see here the accreditation basically means that the university meets very high levels of quality. Okay, so that's one of the things that before you know, while you're doing your research, while you're trying to select some universities to apply it to, check out their accreditation, make sure the university itself is accredited, but also make sure that the academic program is accredited as well within the field of study. So not only, you know, are academics important, you want a quality education, you want an education that is going to be valuable, you want an education that's going to help you to get a job, or an education that's going to help you continue with your studies. But not only that, you need to look at, you know, what is life going to be like as a student at the university. Okay, so student life is very, very important. You know, it's one of the things that I feel like makes universities in the U.S. really a great experience. Attending a university makes it a great experience for international students. So this is another aspect that you need to take a look at. What is life going to be like as a student? So obviously the United States is a very big country. You know, there are big cities, there are small cities, there are small towns. So take a look at where the university is located. We're in the United States. We're actually in Kentucky. You know, don't just look at California and New York. You know, everybody has heard of those places. They're beautiful places. But think about the entire U.S. and, you know, there are many really great places to study, you know, besides the big cities. But obviously, you know, the big cities, it's great to study there as well. There are a lot of advantages. Possibly, you know, maybe you have some relatives living there already, so that would be great. To be next to your relatives, but there are also, like I said, many advantages to being outside of the big cities as well. Another thing is the cost of attendance. So, tuition fees at universities in the U.S. vary greatly. So, some universities cost $5,000 per year. Sometimes universities cost $50,000 per year. So it can be very expensive. Okay, great. I saw somebody on the message saying the audio wasn't very good. If it's not good, I can maybe talk louder. So just let me know. So really, you need to think about the budget. How much are you going to be able to afford? Like I said before, studying in the United States is expensive. It's an investment, but there are a wide range of options for you. Everything, from inexpensive universities to universities that cost a lot. But wherever you fall, I think it'll be a good investment for you coming to the United States and getting a degree in the United States. Another thing you can look at is scholarships. Universities typically offer scholarships to international students, which is a great thing. Not all of them do, but definitely, if you're a good student and you are motivated and you can show that to the university, then you'll have a good chance of getting a scholarship. So definitely look at the universities that are offering scholarships. You can typically find that on their international student webpage. A lot of that information is posted there. You could also, reach out to the Education USA staff there, Bill Lynn. I know she can help you with that as well. So look at the scholarships offered by the university. And then finally, understand the admission requirements. So universities sometimes, require a very high IELTS or TOEFL or a very high GRE or a GMAT. Some universities have lower requirements. So you want to try to get an idea of, once you've kind of figured out which university you're interested in, take a look at their admission requirements, and that way you can start to prepare to take those tests that you need to take in order to get accepted. So you can start that process fairly early. And I talked a little bit about this one. There are universities in the U.S. in big cities. There are universities located in small cities, which we call college towns. And so, like I said, the university where I work, Murray State, we are in a college town. But both locations offer many advantages. So consider all your options. Small cities are often good for international students because you can get fully immersed in the culture, especially if you're trying, to improve your English. Being away from a big city is great because you're going to become friends with a lot of Americans, and so that's really good about being in a small college town. The American students are very friendly, and they're going to want to meet you, and you're going to make a lot of friends. And so not only will you be going to class, but you'll also be making friends, and that's going to help you improve your English for sure. So like I said, many options. Here's a map of the U.S. I know some of you maybe have been to the United States before, and if you have, we would love to have you come back and join one of our institutions. And if you haven't been to the U.S. before, well, then we hope to see you here soon. So talking a little bit about the cost of attendance, public universities typically offer a slightly lower tuition rate. Whereas the private universities, their tuition might be higher, but sometimes they offer more scholarships. So that's something to consider, if you're looking at universities. Private universities typically are more expensive, but they have more scholarships. Also, living expenses, varies greatly within the U.S. If you're in a big city, California, or Florida or New York, the cost of living is going to be fairly expensive. where if you're in a smaller community, the cost of living can be, 1/3 of what it would be in a big city. So that's another thing to think about, cost of living, and when you're figuring out your budget. So I was talking a little bit about the scholarships. Scholarships typically for undergraduate students, for bachelor students, universities are going to look at your secondary school grades. Universities will look at your IELTS scores, your TOEFL scores. If you take the SAT test, sometimes that can help you as well with scholarships. What's good is there are some universities that offer automatic scholarships. So if you have a certain SAT score and you have a certain grade point average, GPA from your secondary school, then you'll automatically qualify for scholarships. So that's something to look for. There are other universities that maybe offer scholarships based on your leadership experience, for example. So if you've been very active and involved in your community in Ecuador, then you might look at universities that are offering, for example, like a leadership scholarship. So it really depends on kind of your scores and your background, and if you've been involved with your community, like I said, that could help you in many ways. So those are all things to consider for master's students. There are scholarships available as well. Based on the GRE sometimes. Individual programs will offer scholarships. Sometimes there are assistantships available to master's students. So you can connect with the professors at the university within the program that you're interested in studying and ask them if there are any opportunities for graduate assistantships. Graduate assistantships, sometimes the tuition can be half, sometimes the tuition will be zero. It really just depends on the university and the professors and the program that you're wanting to join. Okay, another thing is we talked about academics at the university. We talked about the location and the budget. Another thing that you want to take a look at is the environment. What's it going to be like as a student? Importantly, for this topic, you want to think about the support services that are provided to students on campus. So universities in the U.S. Community colleges also provide a lot of services to international students. So typically there's a health center on campus. So if you're not feeling well, you can go to the health center. There's for example, tutoring that's available. So if you need extra help in one of your courses, you can go and get free help with assignments. Some universities offer writing centers, so you're going to be in a bachelor's program, master's, or a PhD program. You're going to be doing typically a lot of writing, and so that can be a little bit difficult in the beginning. So a lot of universities will actually have a writing center on campus where you can go there and you can get extra help with your writing. So that's something to look out for. Another thing is, universities are going to have an international student office that will have a team of staff at the office that can help you throughout your studies. So, they'll help you when you arrive to the university by picking you up at the airport, for example, bringing you to campus, showing you the university, showing you the facilities available to you. And helping you register for courses. If you decide you want to get a driver's license, that's great. The university international office will be able to help you with that. So most universities in the U.S., and this is a great thing, most universities have a a dedicated place for international students. So that's really a good resource for you all when you're going to be joining a university in the U.S. Another thing is, you really want to get involved with the activities on campus. So, like for example, Murray State University, we have about 200 student organizations. So everything from a computer science club to an environmental engineering club to an international student organization. So, depending on your major, you can join a student organization centered around your field of study. You can also join, for example, the International Student Organization. So this is a great opportunity for you to meet other international students. So really, take a look at what the university has in terms of, student organizations and student life, because that's going to be, academics is very important. Obviously, you want to do well in your studies, but you also really want to get involved with the community and to really get together with your fellow students while you're studying. So that's something that most universities really, they encourage their students to get involved. So universities in the U.S., vary greatly in the number of students at the university. So, there are universities with 50,000 students. That's huge. There are universities that are very small. That's something, to think about when you're joining a university. And I mentioned the Writing Center and tutoring and counseling. Take a look at that. Also, a lot of universities will have recreation facilities available for students, and so there can be a gym and a wellness center, and if you play sports, that's a great way to get involved and get to know your fellow students. So universities will offer those sort of activities for you, and you should definitely get involved with those when you join the university. So most undergraduate students, most bachelor students, you all will be living on campus normally. Universities have dormitories where you'll be sharing a room with another student. And again, this is a great opportunity for you to become a part of the campus life. It's really a great opportunity for you because you'll be interacting with your fellow students. You will be very close to all the facilities that I mentioned, the libraries and the cafeteria and the wellness center. Those facilities will be very close to you, so definitely think about living on campus. Master's students and PhD students, living off campus, that is typical for graduate students living off campus, but you could also live on campus. So some universities will have on-campus apartments, and if not, then obviously you can live off campus in a private apartment. Maybe you get a few roommates to live with you. Yeah, so student organizations, we talked about this one before. Just try to get involved as much as you can. For example, Murray State University, where I work, we do a lot of events for international students specifically, but we also have a lot of events that are open to all students. So I would encourage you to really get involved with those. A lot of cultural experiences, there's theater and there's musicals and there's speeches that are given by prominent figures. Sometimes the university will invite prominent figures to come and give a speech, and that's a good opportunity for you to meet those individuals. So definitely take advantage of those as well. So as far as eating, this is what I like because I love food and I like to try new food. So universities will have normally an on-campus dining facility. So for the bachelor students out there, you'll be eating on campus. You'll be typically there's a meal plan, so you can choose a meal plan. If you want to have 2 meals per day at the cafeteria, you can do that. If you want to have 3 meals per day at the cafeteria, you can do that. For master's students, you can still eat on campus, obviously, in the cafeteria, but you have the option. If you prefer, living off campus, you make your own food. That's an option as well. All right, and this is another one for those of you who are sports fans. Universities and colleges in the United States typically have a lot of athletic facilities available. Okay, so the sporting events that universities have, definitely try to go to these games. That's a real fun thing to do. It's free for you as a student, so you have your student ID card with you. You can go to any of these games for free. So universities will have, American football. They'll have soccer, basketball. A lot of different fun sports events to go to. So definitely do that. Yeah, we talked a lot about this one before. Again, that's one of the things I think that you're going to really appreciate in the United States as an international student. You're going to have a lot of facilities available to you. Studying in the United States, it might seem a little bit intimidating, or you might be worried about it. But you can relax because you'll have a team of international advisors, international student advisors who will be able to help you during your studies. They're going to help you adjust to life. They're going to help you get into the classes you want to take. So that is a great thing on most campuses. And again, the libraries and the study areas, oral communication center is another one. I mentioned the writing center, but we also have universities will have an oral communication center, so you can practice giving speeches, you can practice presenting. Also, a lot of universities will have career fairs and a career office. So this is important for you as you get closer to graduating. If you're looking for an internship or you want to try to find a job in the United States after you graduate, definitely get in touch with the career office and go to the career fairs. So that's a great opportunity for you to meet with future employers, which is something that you may wish to do. So as far as the admission process, again, this varies by university, it varies by program, but typically universities are going to ask for IELTS or TOEFL scores, they're going to ask for your transcripts, they're going to ask for your graduation certificate showing that you have your degree, and they're going to ask for a bank statement. Those are the normal documents that would be required. Sometimes the SAT is required as well. Some universities will require the SAT for undergraduate students. For those of you who are interested in a master's program, a lot of times the GRE is required or the GMAT. Okay, so GMAT tends to be more for business programs, where the GRE is typically for programs in the sciences. Yeah, I think we talked a lot about this one already, but I'll kind of go through this. These are some kind of terms or keywords that you might want to know. So, for example, bachelor's programs, Typically, they take, like I said, 4 years, which is 120 credit hours. So that means you typically take 30 credit hours per year, which is, I guess, about 10 courses per year normally. Master's students, like I said, 1 to 2 years to finish your degree. Typically, those programs are 30 to 36 credit hours. Okay, and why it's important to understand what a credit hour is, this is, some universities will they'll tell you the tuition rate based on the credit hour. So for example, the tuition is $500 per credit hour, for example, or $800 per credit hour. Okay, so for a master's program, if you go to a university's website and you're researching the tuition cost, you're trying to figure out your budget, you're trying to figure out how much it's going to cost for you to go to that university, and you see a program, for example, an MBA program, Master of Business Administration. It's a 30 credit hour program, and then you know that the tuition is $800 per credit hour. You can multiply 8 times 30, and then you would know that the entire degree would cost approximately $24,000. Okay, so a course, usually that is 3 credit hours normally, and a course will meet for an hour and a half, 2 times per week for 1 semester. Okay, so I know the math is kind of funny, but a course, you'll meet with your instructor in class for an hour and a half, 2 times per week for 1 semester. Okay. So we talked about the semester before. The spring semester is January until May, and then the fall semester is August until December. And most universities will allow you to start in August for the fall semester or the spring semester. So usually it's possible to start either in fall or spring. Talking a little bit about homework, what are you expected to do? So really, you should expect to study about 2 hours outside of the class for every 1 hour of in-class instruction. Okay. Just to give you an idea of how much work you're going to have to do. So it can be challenging, especially when you first start your studies in the U.S. Focus on your studies as much as possible, and understand how much work you're going to have to do. But also, like I said before, don't forget to get involved with the community. Join those student organizations and get to be involved with the campus. So for you all, what you want to do, research your options in the United States. You're going to look at things like your budget. You're going to look at things like location. You're going to look at things related to the academics. Does the university have the program that I'm interested in? So you start by doing research, finding some universities that you think you might be interested in joining. And then the next part would be, gather your documents, start taking the tests. Like I said, a lot of the information for universities is available through their website, but don't feel afraid to contact the university. Typically there's an international admissions email address, or you can even call the international admissions office. Don't feel afraid to contact them, because they really want to help you. And sometimes there's too much information on the website, and you could be a little bit confused. So what I always recommend is go ahead and contact the university and get some information directly from them. All right, great. So that was just a little I took a long time, but that was an overview of the university higher education system in the United States. I'll go quickly here talking a little bit about Murray State University. I've worked at Murray State University for 6 years. I really like it here. We are a public university established in 1922, so we've been around for over 100 years, or almost 100 years, coming up on 100, and we're located in Murray, Kentucky. So if any of you have if you've never been to Kentucky, please come and visit us. It's a beautiful state, very nice people, very friendly, and we'd love to see you. So we have 245 academic programs. We have programs at the bachelor's level, the master's level. We have doctoral programs, and then we also have an English language program at the university. And we're located, the nearest large city to us is Nashville, Tennessee. And like I said, we're in a college town, so this is a great place for international students to study. We have a lot of outdoor activities that are very close to campus, and so it's a nice place to study, very clean, very safe. We have students from nearly 60 countries at the university, and actually several years ago we were chosen as the friendliest small town in America. So this is really good for you as an international student because, like I said, you want to get to meet people, and you can really do that very easily here at Murray State University because the people are very friendly, the professors are very friendly. The professors, they like international students. They want you to succeed. They want you to do your best. So that's something that we are very proud of, is the fact that our community is so welcoming for international students from around the world. I mentioned this just a minute ago. We have 245 programs, bachelor's, master's, doctoral programs, and the English language program. All of our programs they're fully accredited. So your degree, when you graduate, whether it's business or engineering or computer science or agriculture or nursing or whatever you're interested in studying, your degree is going to be recognized by employers, by organizations, and by universities around the world. Okay. We have small class sizes, so the average student to teacher ratio is 16:1. So for every one professor, we have 16 students. So your classes will be very small, which is great because you'll be able to interact with your professor. Your professor will interact with you, and you'll get to know your classmates well also. For undergraduate programs, you can take a look. This is kind of a short list of the programs that we have. We have about 90 bachelor's programs. So you all can take a look at some of the programs that we have. At the master's level, again, we have about 30 master's programs. Everything from agriculture to engineering, biology. We have an excellent MBA program. Geosciences, if you're interested in information systems and business analytics, we have those. Nonprofit studies, we have a teaching English, a TESOL program, so if you want to teach English in the future, that would be a great master's program for you. So many different options, and again, these are all accredited, fully accredited programs. And then this is one of our current students. Her name is Sophia. She's from Ecuador. She's from Cuenca, I believe. And so Sophia is majoring in biology and pre-medicine with us. So we do have Sophia from Ecuador. We had 60 countries at our university. Now this is one of the important slides here. This is about the cost of attendance. So our tuition for bachelor students, almost about $19,000 per year, and then you have the living expenses, which is about $10,000 per year. So kind of an estimate for the cost of attendance for 1 year for a bachelor's student is about $30,000 US. And again, this is without scholarships. I'm going to get to our scholarships in a minute. But with no scholarships, about $30,000 per year. Then for graduate students, our tuition for 1 year is about $14,000 US. Living expenses, $8,000 to $9,000 per year is what we estimate. But again, you know, if you're a master's student and you're on a budget, you know, it's possible to save some money by living with some roommates. You know, maybe you get a private apartment. You can live off campus, so it's possible to reduce the living expenses slightly for graduate students, but we estimate about $23,500 per year for master's and doctoral students. And then for the English language program, there are 6 levels in the program. Each level is 8 weeks in length. And you can see here the tuition cost is about $1,700 per level, per 8-week level. And then the total cost with all the living expenses included would be about $4,700. Okay, so these are our scholarships for undergraduate students. So you all can take a look here. The scholarships start at $1,500 per year, and they go all the way up to about $12,000 per year. So, you know, some of these are, you know, great opportunities for you to get a scholarship. For example, you know, you take the IELTS test and you get a 7.5 on the IELTS, and you have a 3.5 GPA from your high school. That means you would get a scholarship of about $12,000 per year. And you would get that every year of your study. So this is a great opportunity for you. I can share this with you all later if you'd like. Basically, this is an automatic scholarship. So when you apply for admission, we look at your IELTS or your TOEFL or your SAT. We only need to have one of them. And we look at your high school GPA. And then with that information, we determine your scholarship amount. Great. And so, again, my name is Tyson. I've been at Murray State for almost 6 years now. So please contact me if you have any questions about Murray State University, or if you have questions in general about studying in the United States. I would love to help you. And you know, like I said, there are a lot of great universities, a lot of great institutions in the United States. We would absolutely love to help you and to have you join one of our universities. Looks like we have a few questions here. Belen, would you like me to go ahead and answer the students in the message here? So what about PhD programs from Christian? What are you interested in, Christian? Which sort of program? Okay, great. Okay. So Christian, question is he's interested in a PhD program in teaching English. I tell you, Christian, at my university we have a Doctor of Arts. It's a DA, Doctor of Arts in English Pedagogy and Technology. So this is, it's not a PhD program, but it's considered a doctoral program. So it's a terminal degree. And that one might be a good option for you. So let me pull up the website, and I can put the link in here, Christian, so you can take a look at it. Just give me 1 second. So Christian, this link is for you. Yeah, take a look at that program. It's a 48 credit hour program, and I believe, Christian, the tuition is I believe it's about $600 per credit hour. Okay, so it normally takes 3 years to complete, and you can do the math. 48 times 600, and that would be over a period of 3 years. So we had another question here, and Christian, feel free to contact me later. I'll leave my email address up here in case you are interested in the program. I'd love to help you apply for admission. Great. So we have a question here from Michelle Oviedo. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for coming here today and listening. Happy to be able to give you more information. So Michelle's question is about the I-20. What is an I-20? Okay, so when you apply for a university in the U.S., like I said before, you're going to submit the application. Usually it's an online application. That's how our application is at Murray State University. You apply online, and then you send us your documents, so a copy of your passport, your IELTS or TOEFL scores, your transcripts, and a bank statement. Once we get all of that, then we review your application, and if you're admitted, then we will send you by email, we will send you an admission letter. We'll say, congratulations, Michelle, you're admitted to the program. And at the same time, we will mail to you your I-20. Okay, so the question was, what is an I-20? So I-20 is kind of like an invitation letter from a university, okay? And when you get the invitation letter, when you get the I-20, you can register for the F1 visa appointment at the U.S. Embassy in Ecuador. So basically, it's an immigration or a document that the university issues, kind of like an invitation letter. And when you get that, then you go and you apply for the U.S. visa, the student visa. So Adrian, does IB help in the university? Are you talking about an international baccalaureate program? Are you in an international baccalaureate program right now? I mean, basically, international baccalaureate students, those of you that are listening, yes. I mean, we can accept you into the university. We do have a $1,000 automatic scholarship for IB students. So if you graduated and you have the IB diploma, absolutely, you can get a scholarship for that. It's a $1,000 scholarship. But typically, you're going to qualify, at least at Murray State University, you're going to qualify for more scholarships based on, the IELTS, TOEFL, and SAT scores. Okay, but yeah, so the IB, we would accept the IB. Also, we can offer college credit for some of your IB courses. So, any course that you've taken, you would not need to repeat that when you join at Murray State University. So what happens is our office will review your transcript when you apply, and then we will be able to tell you the college credit that you've received for the IB courses that you've already taken. Well, thank you, Adrian. I'm glad you came and joined the presentation. Okay, so we have Farid. Hi, Farid. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Thank you for joining us, Farid. Farid is transferring from a community college So you've been in a community college in the U.S., which is great. And the question is, do you need to take the TOEFL? The short answer is no. So if you have completed at least 1 year of university study in the United States with a GPA of 2.5 or higher, in that 1 year, then we do not require the IELTS or TOEFL. Okay, so for you, it sounds like you've probably been at a community college in the U.S. for 2 years. That's fantastic. Now you're looking to go and start your 3rd year at a university so you can get your bachelor's degree. And so as long as your GPA is 2.5 or higher from your community college coursework, then no, we would not need the IELTS or the TOEFL. Walter, hi there, Walter. Thank you for joining. Unfortunately, we do not have environmental engineering at my university. We have an applied engineering program. It's a great program, but we don't have environmental engineering.
Hi, Tyson. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. I'm happy. This is great. There are a lot of good questions here.
Yeah, well, just for the record for everybody else, and I'm going to say this in Spanish, la presentación ha sido grabada, entonces si ustedes desean que se las enviemos, por favor envíen un correo a educationusa@stenecuador.org. Se las estoy enviando ahí en el chat y con gusto le enviamos la presentación grabada. Thank you so much, Tyson, for doing this. Sorry we had some technical difficulties. It always happens with the internet.
Thank you.